Hello everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be doing some single-use tomato puree. Just when you have extra tomatoes from the garden, let's say, or you can find some nice ripe tomatoes on special at the grocery store. They're great to use in sauce. They make wonderful sauce, not to mention it's very natural and organic, if for lack of a better term. Anyway, I'm just going to show you how to boil the tomatoes, strain them, turn them into the puree using a food mill, as well as a sieve or a colander. It's very, very simple, a very simple process, but the end result is just so delicious. So here we have, I bought a basket of plum tomatoes yesterday. They were nice and ripe. And I washed some of them, a whole basket I didn't need to do right away. And some of them were just not quite ripe enough to do into sauce. So these ones in the bowl are going to be placed in the pot and put to boil, as they are. Of course, you have to just watch that there's no bad spots on them. You don't have to cut off the stem or anything. It's a very, very simple process. So I've put the tomatoes in the pot. They're on the stove on high to come to a rolling boil. Now I'm going to cover them. And just let them hang out in the pot and come to a boil and cook. They'll need maybe about half an hour to cook because they're nice and firm. So for those of you who are not familiar with a food mill or have never heard of it, this is a food mill. This is the bowl. And you have the various attachments. It works kind of like a manual blender. So this is for very fine pureeing. As you can see, the holes are very, very tiny. Ideal for baby food, actually. This is a medium one, which is the one we're going to use today. This is absolutely fine for tomatoes when you want to get lots of pulp through quickly. And this one here is very wide. The holes are very large. This is best as a potato ricer for when you would like to make gnocchi or anything else that you want to make with not quite fine mashed potatoes, but not coarse. They come out actually very light and they get a lot of air by ricing them with this. And this is the attachment that you put in there to make to puree whatever it is you're pureeing, the vegetables. So this is how it goes together. You just put it with the dome side up, and then this is spring loaded, so there's a spring in here, so it'll give it considerable pressure as you work, and you put it in the grooves, and there you have it. The food goes in here. This sits on top of the bowl and you puree. It's a wonderful gadget, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's very useful, and it stores quite easily because it doesn't take up as much room as a blender or a mixer. As I said, in the event that you don't have a food mill actually a blender doesn't work well with these because it crushes up all the seeds and the peels. Whereas all you want is the pulp, not the seeds or the peels. So a colander and a bowl work just as well. The tomatoes are now cooked. I'm going to put some in the colander to cool off because this is actually hand powered. You have to use your hands to do the tomatoes in there. I used to do that when I was a kid. My mom used to make me do that all the time. So there's a few in here just to show you, but they have to cool. Just to show you how that will get done. So they're still very hot. They're going to cool. I'm going to push them out of the way and put some here in the colander. Now I'm straining some of the water out. You may not be able to fit them all at once. You may have to do them a couple of tries, which is fine. So I'm letting the water drain out. I don't want all that water in there. So let me just dump that back into the pot. Then you're going to take and you're going to simply do that. Look how easy that is. They sometimes need coaxing to get in there, but that's fine. So here you have a really nice tomato puree. No seeds, no skins, just pulp. Okay, so there's one batch. Now I'm going to add, and I'm squeezing the water out in the pot. So there we go. And this is again manually powered, and you get the really nice pulp. So I'm going to just help it down right into the slot so we get everything. There you go. Okay, done. And now there's lots of pulp over here, so we're going to take and strain that down. We're going to use it all up. We don't want to waste anything. And look at this beautiful sauce here. Look at that gorgeous sauce. So this can be used also as is. All you have to do is add some garlic and basil and some olive oil. Okay, so here's the garlic. I'm just going to peel it and quickly chop it. And it doesn't matter if it's chopped coarse or fine, that's your preference. There's many gadgets that you can use to peel garlics and whatever, but this is my favorite way, just to give it a slap, get out your frustration, and peel the garlic at the same time. So here we go, I'm just chopping it up. And this will go right into the tomato puree. And when your pasta is cooked, you can just strain it, not too much. Strain it. So here I have some basil, and it's up to you how much or how little you would like to put in. Too bad this isn't smell-o-vision. This smells wonderful. Love the smell. Nothing says summer to me like fresh basil. Okay, so now we're going to take and put that right in there. I'm going to add a bit of salt, and I like to use kosher salt. Just a bit of salt. Oops, a bit of pepper. Yeah, I use the boxes. And some olive oil. Put that in there. And this one here will make the best pasta, especially capellini. Capellini go really well with fresh tomato sauce. So there you go. So that was the sauce using the food mill that we just did. Now we're going to do just the sauce, just using the colander. So, is it cool enough? It's still pretty hot. So I'm just going to mash them up, just with a spoon, just to break them up. And then, well, it's still pretty hot. All right, we'll come back. Alright, I think they've cooled down sufficiently, so all you have to do is just squish them in your hands and just rub them against the bottom of the colander. You can use your fingers, your knuckles, whatever, and you're going to get out all of the pulp and none of the seeds or the peel. So you see, just rub it. You can also just peel them with and break them up with a fork, or cut them up with a fork and knife. But this, you get a lot more out of it. Haven't done this in a few years, a few decades, I have to say. But it just came to my mind that in the event that you have nice fresh tomatoes and don't have a food mill and don't have the fancy equipment, you don't need the fancy equipment. You just need to have something to strain the stuff through. So there you have it. This was just a lot less tomatoes, so it was only 4 tomatoes, but you have enough puree here for a couple of people. So that whole basket of tomatoes cost me $5, and I have puree here for 2. Okay, 1 or 2. So that's for 2 people. This is enough for a family of 4. Plus I have another half a basket left over. That's pretty economical if you ask me, not to mention delicious and nutritious. So I did cook some pasta shells just to show you how to use this very special, lovely tomato puree. So there's the tomato puree that we just made. So here you are, you just scoop it right into the pasta, just like that. Put it back on the stove to simmer for a couple of minutes. And it's going to be ready. Add some cheese and away you go. Now you can use any kind of pasta that you like, whether it's long pasta, short pasta, doesn't really matter, as long as you just use the tomato puree. There we go, all done. Bon appetit. So it's been sauteed, they've zhuzhed together. Put that in a plate, sprinkle some Parmigiano on there, and it's a meal fit for a king. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This puree can be used as is, as I said, just add the garlic, basil, oil, salt, and pepper, and then mix it when the pasta is almost done cooking. You have to let the pasta of all the flavors to blend. The last maybe 3-4 minutes, just let everything just kind of simmer together and blend the flavors. It is so delicious. Or you can use it as a base for tomato sauce, as I had shown in my previous video, just a regular tomato sauce. It works beautifully. You just saute the herbs first and then add the puree, add your salt and pepper, and let it simmer for a little bit. It doesn't need much simmering either. It's very fast. It can be made ahead of time. It can last in the fridge for, you know, several days. If you don't have time to make it on the spot, you can make it a couple of days ahead of time, and it's ready to go whenever you are. Great on pizza too. This is amazing on pizza. All you have to do is add oregano to it, and you've got yourself just the most wonderful pizza sauce. Anyway, have a great day. Enjoy. If you try it, please leave feedback. I really appreciate it. I can be contacted through my website if you have any questions at www.cinchitpants.com. I also teach sewing, pattern making, and a whole array of things. Cooking, I have had a lot of experience in it, almost 30 years in the food business. Plus, I was raised with this kind of stuff made from scratch. Anyway, enjoy. Have a great day.